Most people grow food as if it were temporary. They plant, harvest once, clear the space, and then repeat the same process the following year. This approach takes time, money, and energy, and it keeps gardeners stuck in a cycle that never truly builds abundance. But nature never intended food systems to work this way. In natural ecosystems, the most dependable food sources are not annual plants that disappear after one season. They are perennial crops. Plants that grow once and continue producing food year after year, often becoming more productive with time. Perennial crops form the backbone of long-lasting food systems. Their roots go deeper, their structures become stronger, and their yields increase as they mature. Instead of constantly replanting, you are building a system that improves itself. Once established, perennial crops require less work, fewer inputs, and offer greater reliability. Welcome to Daily Plant Life, where we focus on growing food that lasts, multiplies, and supports you long-term. Today, you're going to learn about 12 perennial crops that can feed you forever, globally recognized crops grown across different climates, cultures, and regions. These are not niche foods. These are proven plants that, once planted, continue feeding you year after year with minimal effort. Let's begin with one of the most productive perennial crops on Earth. 1. Banana. Banana is one of the closest examples of a plant once, harvest forever crop. While each banana stem produces fruit only once, the banana plant itself never truly dies. After fruiting, new shoots, known as pups, emerge from the base and take over. This natural replacement system ensures continuous production without replanting. Once a banana clump is established, it becomes a self-sustaining cycle. Older stems fruit and die back while younger ones grow and prepare for the next harvest. With proper spacing and basic care, bananas can produce for decades. In suitable climates, a single clump can provide consistent harvests year after year, while also supplying leaves used for cooking and food preparation. Bananas also improve soil health. Their large leaves shade the ground, reduce moisture loss, and add organic matter as they decompose. Over time, a banana planting creates its own fertile environment, making it an excellent foundation crop in long-term food systems. Banana plants also act as natural mulch producers, constantly dropping leaves that feed the soil. This self-feeding system reduces the need for fertilizers over time. As the clump matures, harvests often become larger and more consistent. 2. Asparagus. Asparagus is a true long-term investment crop. Unlike annual vegetables that demand immediate results, asparagus focuses on building strength first. During its early years, the plant develops a deep, powerful root system that stores energy for future growth. Once established, asparagus produces tender spears every spring for 15 to 25 years or more. Each year, asparagus plants become more productive. The harvest window expands, spear size improves, and overall yield increases. With minimal maintenance, occasional feeding, and weed control, asparagus becomes one of the lowest-effort perennial crops you can grow. Asparagus also fits well into permanent garden beds. Once planted, it should not be disturbed, which encourages long-term soil stability. This makes it ideal for gardeners who want predictable, reliable food without yearly replanting. Asparagus becomes more resilient each year as its root crown expands underground. This deep root system helps it survive droughts and temperature swings. Once established, it is one of the most dependable spring food sources you can grow. 3. Artichoke. Artichokes are powerful perennial producers that thrive in temperate climates. Once established, artichoke plants send up multiple shoots each season, each capable of producing large, edible flower buds. These buds are harvested before they bloom, making artichokes both productive and visually impressive plants. Artichokes improve with age. Their root systems expand, allowing them to produce larger and more numerous buds each year. They also multiply naturally by producing side shoots, which can be divided and replanted to expand your garden without buying new plants. Beyond food production, artichokes contribute to garden resilience. Their large leaves shade the soil, reduce evaporation, and suppress weeds. With proper care, artichokes can produce reliable harvests for many years, making them a strong addition to any perennial garden. Artichokes respond well to regular harvesting, which encourages new bud formation. Older plants often produce multiple harvest waves in a single season. Their dramatic foliage also provides shade and protection for nearby crops. 4. Rhubarb. Rhubarb is one of the toughest and longest-living perennial food plants available, especially in cooler climates. Once established, rhubarb returns every year with thick, edible stalks that can be harvested multiple times throughout the growing season. A single rhubarb plant can live and produce for over 20 years. Rhubarb thrives on neglect. It does not require frequent watering, intensive feeding, or constant attention. In fact, overcare often reduces productivity. Once planted in suitable soil, rhubarb quietly produces year after year with minimal intervention. Because rhubarb emerges early in the season, it provides food when few other crops are ready. This makes it an important perennial for extending the harvest season and increasing food security. Rhubarb's early emergence makes it valuable when few other crops are ready. Its long lifespan means one planting can feed multiple generations. With minimal disturbance, rhubarb quietly improves soil structure year after year. 5. Sweet potato. Sweet potato is often treated as an annual crop, but in warm and frost-free climates, it behaves as a perennial ground cover. Once established, sweet potato vines spread rapidly, producing edible leaves and underground tubers while protecting the soil from erosion and weeds. One of the most powerful features of sweet potatoes is their ability to regrow from leftover roots and vines. You can harvest selectively, leaving some tubers in the soil to continue growing. Over time, this creates a self-renewing system where sweet potatoes return season after season without replanting. Sweet potato vines also improve soil structure. Their dense growth shades the ground, retains moisture, and adds organic matter when trimmed. This makes sweet potatoes not only a food crop, but also a soil-building perennial that supports other plants. Sweet potato vines root wherever they touch the soil, creating natural expansion. This spreading habit allows the plant to regenerate even after partial harvests. Over time, sweet potatoes form a living ground cover that feeds you continuously. 6. Figs. Fig trees are among the most reliable long-term fruit producers in the world. Once established, fig trees can live for decades, producing sweet, nutritious fruit every year with very little maintenance. They tolerate a wide range of soil conditions and adapt well to both full sun and partial shade. Figs grow stronger with time. As their roots deepen and branches mature, fruit production increases. Even when pruned heavily, fig trees recover quickly and continue producing. This resilience makes them ideal for gardeners who want a low-maintenance perennial fruit tree. A single fig tree can supply a household with fresh fruit for many years, making it one of the most valuable perennial crops for long-term food production. Fig trees recover quickly from pruning, making them highly adaptable. Even neglected trees often continue to produce fruit reliably. Their long lifespan turns them into permanent food assets rather than seasonal crops. 7. Grapes. Grapes are one of the oldest perennial food crops cultivated by humans, and for good reason. Once planted and trained properly, grapevines can live and produce for decades, sometimes even over a century. Each year, the vine grows stronger, and with correct pruning, grape production becomes more reliable and abundant. Grapevines store energy in their woody structure, allowing them to bounce back quickly after harvest. Once established, they require surprisingly little care beyond annual pruning and occasional feeding. Grapes are incredibly versatile, providing fresh fruit, juice, dried fruit, and fermented products. Another advantage of grapes is their ability to grow vertically. This makes them ideal for small gardens, fences, pergolas, and walls. Instead of taking up valuable ground space, grapes turn vertical structures into long-term food sources. Grapevines become more productive as their woody structure matures. Proper pruning actually increases fruit quality and yield. Once trained, grapevines can outlive the gardener who planted them. 8. Apples. Apple trees are classic perennial producers that can feed generations. Once established, an apple tree can produce fruit for 30 to 50 years or more. While apple trees take time to mature, the payoff is worth the wait. Each year, fruit production increases as the tree develops a stronger root system and wider canopy. Apple trees also fit well into diverse climates, making them one of the most widely grown perennial fruit trees in the world. With proper pruning and occasional feeding, apple trees become low-maintenance food sources that return reliably each season. Beyond fruit, apple trees contribute to ecosystem health. Their blossoms support pollinators, and their fallen leaves enrich the soil. A single apple tree does far more than feed you. It strengthens the entire garden. Apple trees improve with thoughtful pruning and patience. As the canopy expands, fruit size and quantity increase. A mature apple tree often produces more than one household can consume. 9. Cherries. Cherry trees are long-lived perennials that reward patience with sweet, nutritious fruit year after year. Once established, cherry trees can produce fruit for decades. Like apples, cherries benefit from strong root development early on, which leads to increased yields over time. Cherry trees thrive in temperate climates and prefer stable conditions. Once mature, they require minimal care beyond pruning and pest management. Their spring blossoms are not only beautiful, but also critical for pollinators. With proper placement and care, cherry trees become dependable food producers that enhance both the productivity and beauty of a garden. Cherry trees benefit from stable conditions and minimal disturbance. Once settled, they tend to produce reliably year after year. Their long lifespan makes them excellent legacy trees. 10. Perennial herbs. Rosemary, thyme, sage. Perennial herbs are often overlooked as serious food crops, but they play a critical role in long-term food systems. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, and sage grow year after year, providing flavor, nutrition, and medicinal benefits without replanting. Once established, these herbs thrive on minimal care. They tolerate poor soil, drought, and neglect better than many other crops. Regular harvesting encourages bushier growth, ensuring a continuous supply. Perennial herbs also attract beneficial insects and repel pests, supporting the health of surrounding plants. While they may not provide bulk calories, they significantly enhance food quality and sustainability. Perennial herbs become more flavorful as plants mature. Regular harvesting strengthens growth instead of weakening it. These herbs quietly support the entire garden ecosystem. 11. Nut trees, almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts. Nut trees are among the most powerful perennial food sources available. Once established, nut trees can produce food for decades, sometimes over 100 years. Although they take time to mature, nut trees offer long-term security unmatched by annual crops. Nuts provide dense nutrition, including healthy fats, protein, and calories. Once mature, nut trees often require very little care while producing large harvests annually. They also contribute significantly to soil health, carbon storage, and ecosystem stability. Planting a nut tree is an investment in the future, not just for you, but for generations to come. Nut trees store enormous energy in their structure and roots. Once they begin producing, harvests often increase annually. They represent one of the most efficient long-term calorie sources available. 12. Olives. Olive trees are legendary perennial producers. Once established, olive trees can live and produce fruit for centuries. They thrive in poor soils, tolerate drought, and require minimal maintenance, making them ideal for long-term food production in suitable climates. Olives provide fruit that can be eaten fresh or processed into oil, one of the most valuable food products in the world. With proper pruning and patience, olive trees become nearly indestructible food sources that improve with age. Few crops demonstrate the power of perennial agriculture better than olives. Olive trees thrive on neglect better than many crops. Their slow growth contributes to exceptional longevity. With time, olives become nearly indestructible food producers. Perennial crops shift food production from short-term effort to long-term abundance. Instead of restarting every year, you build systems that grow stronger with time. These crops protect soil, conserve water, and reduce labor while providing consistent harvests. When you plant perennials, you're not just growing food. You're building resilience, stability, and independence. If you want a garden that feeds you year after year without constant replanting, perennial crops are the foundation. Start with 1 or 2, learn their rhythm, and let your garden evolve into something that works for you instead of demanding constant effort. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe to Daily Plant Life, and turn on notifications for more guides on growing food that lasts. Until the next video, keep growing smarter, keep growing longer, and keep your garden alive.